Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Tasneem Abrahams. She helps service industry brands and social influencers establish and grow their online presence through professional website consulting services. And she is coming to us all the way from South Africa. Welcome to the show, Tasneem.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I certainly like to hear different accents on the show. I've got a bit of an accent myself, which is becoming pretty American now, but it's definitely nice to hear somebody that doesn't speak the way everybody else does. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Tasneem, and your company.
I have a bit of a roundabout story in that I didn't initially plan to end up in the digital marketing space or in web design. I actually am a qualified occupational therapist and specializing in mental health. I still do that. What happened was that, when the digital age sort of came upon us, I often, because I work for mostly nonprofits and charities, I spotted a gap. I always loved technology. And I noticed that there wasn't really anyone servicing the nonprofits at the time because they couldn't afford to go to big digital agencies. They weren't being found on Google. Most of them didn't have websites. And I actually started building websites initially to service that gap. So it never was intended to be a business, but over time, because I really enjoyed it, and as the digital space actually grew and it became more and more important, I actually went more towards that and drifted away from the occupational therapy for a period of time. And so I started my business in 2015, and it made sense for me to focus on that industry, health and wellness, nonprofit organizations, education sector, basically service industry businesses, people who have small service industry businesses who are looking to get online. They can't afford to go to big digital agencies, but they don't also want to just, go to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And that's how Digital Engage was born.
Excellent. Would fall into the occupation that they have, whether it's through necessity or through just love of what they do, and that's a great place to be, especially when there is a need for your services. So talk to me a little bit more about the clients that you serve. What kind of problems do they have?
Well, as I mentioned before, a lot of people who are in service industry businesses, they do need to be found online. But a lot of the clients that come to me either don't have a website at all and have been relying purely on word of mouth referrals or social media, or they do have a website which they just had done some time ago and then set and forget kind of situation where they don't actually know how to maximize the use of their website. So they come to me either because they need a website fresh, that they've never had one, or they feel like they want a redesign because they think that, redesigning the website is going to bring them more business. Maybe the business is not doing that great. Competition is increased. And so that really is the primary problem. They feel that they need a fresh web presence and that is going to bring in more business.
And that's not necessarily going to bring in more business, having a fresh web presence. You've really got to have a good call to action and, of course, be found rather than just having a pretty website. So
Yes.
tell me about some of the services that you offer your clients and how you take them on that journey to really share with them what they need.
Well, the first thing that is most important, clients will often, the typical conversation is they would give you a call or they would email and say, oh, I need a website. How much will it cost? There's always that jumping straight into how much will it cost, because the website is viewed as a commodity. It's not really viewed as it should be, which is that the website should be another employee in your business. It should be a sales generation tool or another salesperson in your business. But they often see it as something that you pay for it and you get it, and then it does what it's supposed to. So often the first question I ask is, I either get them to fill an online needs analysis questionnaire, or we talk through it over the phone. And a lot of the times the clients, there's some resistance to filling in that form because it asks more business related question and nothing to do with the website. And they would often be like, but I just want you to tell me how much it is for a website. Why are you asking me all these business questions? So, once they start to understand that, I explain to them that, your website isn't, it's no use you build a website and then it's just going to sit there and nobody's going to find it. First of all, your website needs to speak to your target audience, and then it needs to be optimized in a way that it's going to be found. And then thirdly, which is often the part that is neglected, I find, by digital companies, is that once you bring all this traffic to your site, what are you doing with all these people that are coming to your website? How are you actually converting your traffic into leads that you can follow up on? And what is your process that you have that actually then enables you to convert those leads into customers? So once they understand that, they're a lot more open to doing that initial needs analysis, and we go through what their business brand attributes are, who their ideal customer is, and we talk at length about their customer persona, their ideal persona, who that is, what their problem is, why would they be looking for their service, and what would be their ideal customer specific journey from the time that they make an inquiry about or identify that they have a problem to actually making the decision to make a purchase or contract for a service. And only once we understand that, sometimes we'll find that the client that comes to me maybe doesn't even need a new website. Maybe what they really need is to update their processes, or maybe what they need is to have their social media and websites speak to each other, or maybe what they need is paid advertising or search engine optimization, where in other cases, yes, it might very well be that we need to start all of that off with the new fresh web design. So that's really the first thing that I do with clients when they come to me.
And that's something that people have to realize and figure out, I think, on their own as well. They're not going to a graphic designer to get a website done. They're going to a digital marketing company who just basically what you said there, you're giving business consulting services, and you're sharing with them everything that needs to be done in order to get the best results from the website.
Yes. And this is the reason why I call myself a website consulting agency, because it really is far more than just providing the digital services. In fact, because I also am a lot of my ideal client, they are cost sensitive. So a lot of the times it's necessary for me to not even provide the on the ground service, because it would be cheaper for them to either train somebody in-house or for them to hire a virtual assistant, or, so it's easy. It would be easy for me to just give a proposal with like loads of money and say, this is what you need to do and pay me and I'll do everything. But is that going to be fit for purpose? Because while we do know that digital marketing has can generate return on investment, you have to look at the business case and what is the profit margin that this particular business is making. So even if you have 100%, which obviously never happens, but even let's say, for instance, you have 100% conversion rate from people that come to your website to become customers, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a return on investment if, say, the cost of converting that customer is more than the profit you're going to make on that particular customer's business. And a lot of clients, when they see that they actually do care about that and what their bottom line is, they really appreciate it, because they know that they're not going to just be spending money on things that actually is going to end up losing them profit than, just for the sake of getting more business in.
So once you've had that conversation with them and they understand a little bit what needs to be done, how are you getting traffic and leads and conversions for your clients? What kind of things are you doing for them?
Well, one of the things that's also important to point out about my particular customer, I sometimes wonder why I like working with this kind of customer, because it's the type of client that typically agencies like to steer away from, because my typical clients don't have a very limited knowledge about online marketing, about websites, and about social media. They've been pottering on doing their own thing on social media with very variable results. They don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of them have such limited knowledge that some of them, even as much as don't even know the difference, for example, between a domain and hosting. So it's like really basic knowledge. And so it requires quite an intensive bespoke relationship, because I kind of become almost like the design therapist, if you want to call it that, or the digital therapist, where they ask a lot of questions and they need a lot of hand-holding and training. But I suppose because of my background in occupational therapy, that is what I naturally enjoy. So when a client does come to me, when it comes to looking at the back-end processes, I like to go really through how much time they have in their business. So what happens is that these smaller clients who are service industry businesses, a lot of the times the owners are working both in the business and on the business. And so they are very time poor. So they don't have a lot of time to go and learn all kinds of systems. And what often happens is they don't have time for follow-up as well. So if they get emails through the website, they either don't reply, or they reply and they don't follow up, or they don't send out a quote in time and the person has found somebody else already. So if I take, let's take a case example. You have a photographer, for example. This is maybe a freelance photographer, and they get a lot of hits on their website because their images are really great. People see them on social media, go to the website and inquire through the contact form, hi, how much is it for a photo shoot? So what often happens is either number one, their contact form isn't set up correctly. So maybe they lose a lot of the leads into their spam box, or just never arrives into the email. So that's usually the first mistake that happens that I've seen with some of my clients. They aren't getting the leads to begin with. Then secondly, they do get the lead into their email box and they reply, asking for the person's contact number or sending out their rate card, but then they forget about it. So they don't follow up because they don't have a system to tell themselves, okay, I need to follow up on that person who requested my rate card. I've sent it out. I haven't heard back. Let me contact them either by phone or follow up email. They don't have that in place. So that lead gets dropped off. Then if it does so happen that the person gets back to them and says, okay, I like what I see on your rates. How do we go about making an appointment? I don't know, I'm pregnant and I'd like a pregnancy photo shoot, or I have an engagement coming up or something like that. Now, a lot of the times what I find with service industry businesses is that their customers are often looking for somebody. It's very rare that you get people who are, plan way in advance. A lot of the times in service industry businesses, you have clients who are looking for somebody and they want the information now and they want to be able to make a decision and purchase the services, and they want to have all these quotes and make a decision. And if that process isn't going to be quick enough, you're going to find that you're going to lose a lot of customers. So what I do is I sit down with my clients and we actually go through, work out what is their ideal workflow from the time that somebody either makes a phone call or drops them an email to find out about these services. What is the information they need to provide that person? What is that information the person needs in order to make a decision? And then what is their process in terms of actually going from the person deciding to take the service and actually onboarding? And then what is the process for onboarding that client so that you give them a seamless, fantastic experience so that they'll tell all their friends about it? So an example of that would be if let's stick with a photographer, the photographer says, well, when somebody inquires about my service, the first thing I need to do is tell them what my packages are, because I have set packages. Then I need them to select packages and actually seamlessly make a booking in my diary without having to go this back and forth. And if I have the dates available and they're happy with my package, they need to be able to book and pay, and we all set to go. So when we sit down and look like step by step what their processes are, we then know in the back end of your website, how do we then integrate those processes to automate as much as possible of that, so that you are not following up and spending all your time trying to convert this lead into a customer, and you can focus more on building the relationship and actually the onboarding process and actually doing the job. So that would be an example of how we look at how the website can actually be used as another employee in your business, as a almost digital virtual assistant in your business.
Right. And it seems like that's what you do with the clients that you have, is you're taking your time to build the relationships, and you have your automated system set up as well. Yes. You mentioned the clients that you deal with are time poor, you said, and that's got to really help them out, having a system in place so that they can do the important things in their business, such as developing the relationships, because ultimately, when you have a good relationship with your clients, you're going to keep their business. That's really what it's all about. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the kinds of things that you do to get traffic and leads to your client's business.
Well, so the other aspect, we now in this new influencer age, so I find that I'm also getting a lot more clients who, which is this new kind of client now, the bloggers, the social influencers, and with them there's a lot of importance in them actually growing a social media following. But then what I find is that I have a lot of clients who want to get into this influencer marketing space, and they're so focused on growing their social media that they actually forget that, while you are engaging with your clients through social media, it's actually through your website that you're building your list and actually converting that into money. So again, a lot of people go into the whole blogging without really knowing much about WordPress or knowing much about how to publish online, and then how to actually connect their social medias to their websites. So I had a client, so this was one of those clients who didn't know the difference between a domain and hosting, didn't know anything about different platforms, didn't even know the word WordPress, really didn't know the first thing about blogging. And yet she was looking to become an influencer because she had entered like a really big competition and she wanted to become a lifestyle and parenting blogger. So part of what I did with her is, and when she started out, she had no social media, she had no Instagram, nothing. So she was really starting from scratch. So the first thing we did was to, of course, establish her brand. So we worked with a graphic designer. We looked at what is the, who is the audience she's talking to, what appeals to them, the colors, the all the different visual attributes. And then we designed a website that matched that brand. But then the critical part is that as somebody who wanted to become an influencer, she obviously the end goal was to have enough traffic and enough of an email list that brands would see that she has an audience that matches their audience, and they would then be able to sponsor her or pay for posts, or she could start doing affiliate marketing and advertising and all of those things. So she had to be, we had to go through a process where she had to be very clear that this is not going to be an overnight journey, that there was going to be a long journey to where she eventually needed to go, but starting off with what is her goal. Then the next point would be the training. So I started to educate her on the whole idea of being a blogger is essentially a content marketer, and what content marketing is and how she needed to be consistent with her posting. So it was about training her on how to firstly upload posts regularly. And I had to design the website in such a way that it would make it as easy and painless for her as possible to be able to consistently upload new posts regularly. Then we would we initially established sort of a content calendar where she would, and we would start off slowly, where she would post first one blog post a week, and then eventually increase that. And then as her social media started to grow, it was not only looking at the posts on her website, but also how was she posting on social media that would attract people to go and actually want to go and read what's on her blog. So it's really about looking at, firstly, establishing a goal with the website. Is it to increase sales? Is it to increase brand awareness? Is it to increase traffic? Is it to increase brand authority? What is that end goal? So in her case, it was to establish an authority in the fields of lifestyle, parenting, and she needed to do that by generating content that showed that she was regularly sharing her insights and opinions, and it also needed to look beautiful and attract the right kind of audience. And then it's about establishing a good routine of posting consistently, regularly on the right platforms, and then drawing all your audiences from the various platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, and then drawing all that into the website. Then the next phase was actually now, I mean, we always say in digital marketing, the email list is gold. But what I find is we focus so on jumping straight onto the email list. And it's very demotivating when a client, they not really getting anybody subscribing to the emails. I always like to say, well, yes, the email list is gold and you want to be building that from the beginning. But if you are starting out and so much to take in, let's just get you an expert at actually generating the content, because that's going to get your search engine optimization better. That's going to build your authority, and then people are going to naturally be more likely to subscribe to your email. So actually, we only added the email, although I added an email list platform from the beginning with a subscribe button, all of that, we didn't focus on that. We focused on her becoming an expert at the content marketing side. And once her social media was of big enough numbers and her blogging was regular enough, she now was ready to start doing social media campaigns, sponsored posts, where the aim was actually for people to now start signing up. And she's now at the stage where she's focusing more on growing her email list, because she's now at the next stage in her journey.
So this influencer thing is very interesting. Obviously, to be an influencer has a great deal of power, but how long does it take to become an influencer in your niche? Have you seen for your clients? And at what point does that transition into a good income or profits in the bottom line?
So it really depends on what industry you're in. So there are some industries that are a lot easier and quicker when done correctly, of course, than others. When it comes to fashion, beauty, those kind of niches are easier to build an audience because they are naturally visually appealing. The type of audience that attracts that, they tend to engage with those posts a lot easier. When you are dealing with the more serious topics like business topics, there's a lot of competition, and the amount of expertise is so varied. So if you look within the field of business, I mean, whether are you an expert in digital marketing? Are you an expert in actual running businesses? Are you an entrepreneur? So I think at the starting point for those people who want to become influencers, it's really about identifying, really niching down within your industry. What is it that you want to become known for? And then depending on that industry would determine how long it takes. So with this particular client now that wanted to be lifestyle, parenting, influencer blogger, it really didn't take her that long. I mean, I think it's now been just over a year, and she has now started to get brands come on board. So when you're asking like how would you make money and at what point does it become lucrative, again, it depends on your business model. So this is also something that a lot of people, especially a lot of young people, they think, oh, I'll just start a blog and then I'll make lots of money because I see other influencers living this life and having all these beautiful brands and all of that. But it actually costs quite a bit, because you have to actually show that you are investing money in buying like the cosmetics or the fashion, or before those brands will actually then sponsor you. So you have to identify beforehand, if you're going to go into this field of influencer marketing, how are you actually planning to generate? What is going to be your business model? So there's a couple of different ways. One of it would be the age-old advertising, which doesn't really it's not as lucrative because people aren't spending as much on they're either using Google AdWords, then there's not that many people that's going to go and buy ad spots on your website. You're going to have loads and loads of traffic, and that's going to take you a long time. So then there's of course signing up for Google AdSense and running ads on your site. Now you can potentially make some nice passive income from that, but again, it's very small amounts. So for the amount of traffic the amount of content you need to produce to generate the amount of traffic that will have enough hits on those ads to make it anything to live off, it's not going to be that easy. So usually people who run AdSense on the site, it usually is just some passive income with a little bit of extra that comes in. Oftentimes what would happen is that amount that comes in is enough to pay for your hosting. So, you're basically cutting down costs. I think the most lucrative would be the brand sponsorships and the affiliate marketing. And when it comes to affiliate marketing, there are certain industries that don't really work well with that. So with fashion industry, you can't, unless you have very solid relationships with big fashion houses, and a lot of the big fashion brands online now in South Africa are actually glorified affiliate marketers, because what they do is they partner with other fashion brands, and they say, well, we sell all your items on our site and we take a huge commission, like 40% or something. So essentially they're basically affiliate marketers. So they pump all of their resources into marketing the website, getting their website seen and getting clicks and traffic, and then what they sell on there, none of that is their own stuff. It all belongs to other people. But when it comes to other industries like business or even in digital marketing, you'll see that a lot of people are doing tutorials or writing blog posts and almost giving away all the secrets. Like, online has changed the world of marketing so much, where before everybody was, guarded about how they do things and what the method is of doing search engine optimization or how to build a website. Nowadays, everybody's just giving all of this information away. And the reason for that is that by giving the information away, the people who are looking for those solutions, they come to your website and the know, like, and trust factor. They get to know you, they listen to all your tutorials, they try it out, it works, so they get to trust you, so they keep coming back to your website looking for solutions. And so when you suggest a tool, so in my case, for example, one of the tools I use for that back-end process for the photographer would be a tool called Dubsado, and which is a client relationship management platform. And if I'm using it all the time for my clients, I might as well sign up as an affiliate, because then somebody who isn't necessarily going to buy my service, maybe they like what they've read on a blog post, and so they sign up for Dubsado, and I can make a commission off that or earn something extra off that. So that would be an example of using affiliate marketing as an influencer as well. Is that if you become known for knowing a lot about a specific topic, and you actually identify products like software or services in line with that topic that you're talking about, and you sign up for the affiliate program and you add the links to your site or talk about it in your tutorials and share the links, and people sign up, you can actually make quite a nice packet at the end of the day, just through people signing up and, trusting your word when you say that this particular product is really good.
Yeah, I think trust has a lot to do with it, and especially when we're talking about influencer marketing, they are using that influence to share different products, like you said. So they have to make sure that those products that they're sharing are good and they're going to be of benefit to their audience. Otherwise, they are going to lose that influence pretty quickly. It's definitely interesting to see where this is going to go in the future. Where do you think that is, Tasneem? Is there always going to be an influencer marketing craze?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that I don't think as a race, a human race, that we will become less socially influenced by what we see online. I think that what is going to happen is that people are going to almost be as the new generation come up, they always know a little bit more, and new things come in, and so because they become a bit more digitally savvy than the millennials, as they say, or the generation after the millennials, they become a little bit more savvy. So as influencers will also have to evolve in that they like I follow a lot of I'm not really into fashion, but I follow a lot of fashion influencers just to kind of see what they're doing, and more because I'm interested in the industry and what they're doing than actual fashion. And you'll see there's a trend, like we say in beauty bloggers and beauty fashion, the ones who evolve with their audience and evolve with their times and evolve with what they see audiences are looking for. Those are the ones who have lasting power. The ones who are kind of just posting the same stuff all the time, eventually the influence will start to wane, because the big brands are looking for people who are fresh and innovative and cutting edge and speaking to like new audiences all the time. So I don't see influencer marketing going anywhere in the future, but I do think that it's going to evolve. And also, you have to realize, digital marketing has really exploded over a very short space of time, and already we're starting to see new things like artificial intelligence come into play. And how are you as an influencer actually staying at the cutting edge of how digital works and how you are delivering your content? If you're just going to stay in I'm just going to only do blog posts, and you never go explore Instagram TV, for example, or you never evolve with how YouTube is working, then you are going to get left behind.
Right. And of course, there's always going to be another platform. There's going to be another Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or Snapchat or Musical.ly or whatever it might be. Give people the opportunity to become an influencer on these new platforms. Well, Tasneem, this has been really a great conversation. Really enjoyed this. It's interesting to hear just what's going on in the digital marketing world, especially with the influencers, and from the other side of the world as well. Things are pretty much the same. It's a global business now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. South Africa is a little bit behind on the curve from the rest of the world, but they are catching up a lot. A big problem we have to contend with is that we don't have as great internet connectivity as the rest of the world, but that is starting to change. But also, I just wanted to just mention also another thing, like you were saying now about there's always another platform. This is a really important point that you bring up, because I think that's one of the misconceptions, is that people think, oh, why do I need a website when I can just use Facebook pages or Facebook groups or Instagram TV? But it's exactly that you said, that there's always going to be another platform. So you are not going to be able to harness the power of every platform you in one place unless you have that one place, which is your website. And as you said, like, the platforms change all the time. As there was this big uproar recently, most everyday people don't even realize that it affects them, which is the Facebook algorithm, where they've recently changed that only personal posts or friends posts will be prioritized, because they, at the end of the day, they want people to spend more money, marketing money, on paid Facebook advertising. So now, if you've established your entire brand and your entire influence on Facebook pages, and now they change the algorithm and you suddenly lose engagement, views on your post, impressions, all of that, then where does that leave you? Whereas your website and your email marketing list, you always have control over that, and you always have the ability to go to another platform or use another method and bring people back to your website. So your website is always going to be a critical part of any digital marketing strategy.
Definitely, it definitely does. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Tasneem, for help with their website or for strategy, which we've been talking about this whole conversation, what is the best way for them to do that?
So the best way would be to either email me at hello@digitalengage.co.za, or to go onto my website and fill out the contact form. Obviously, I use the same processes on my own website. So when you do fill out the website and tick there what services it is that you're looking for, it would set off a back-end process that will be able to send you the information you need, and we would be able to get started talking about how I can possibly help you. And they can also follow me on social media. My personal professional Instagram handle is TAS Abrahams, or on Facebook and Instagram, Digital Engage. And I also have a company LinkedIn page that they can find.
Excellent. Well, we've been talking with Tasneem Abrahams. She is the founder and director of Digital Engage in South Africa. Tasneem, thank you very much for being my guest on Trust Factor Radio today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.